This is Wayne S. Pierce for American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Hey, some changes are being made. not as I speak right now, but they are. And so, this is 22nd of September. If I can talk, I haven't had my coffee yet. 22nd of September, 2017. How are you? There are a few things that have come to mind in the last 24 hours. A question arose in my mind when I was up, doing things last night, and I was, watching TV and watching, some shows that I like, and a question came to mind about entertainment. And we often look at entertainers as being, hey, these guys, they make incredibly insane amount of money to do what? Seriously. They do what? What do they do? They entertain, right? They entertain, okay? And it's incredible to me that they make this amount of money to entertain us, but they also apparently think they have the need to tell us what to think, how to, how to do these things, whatever. And to me, it just makes absolutely no sense that they would not only entertain us and make the insane amount of money they do, but that they find it in somewhere in their minds that whatever they say politically, we're supposed to believe them. Okay? That's not how it works. Okay? That's not how it works. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work that way. If these entertainers, so-called entertainers, if these people are getting paid to entertain us, to do what they do, they should shut the hell up and just do it. Okay? There's certain shows on TV that parody, or I should say make fun of, the president, the Congress, the, people around them and all that. To me, if it's funny and points out how absurd all of that is, I'm good with it. But if they're there bashing their political ideals into my head and down my throat, that's not good. If I can laugh at somebody's funny jokes, the parodies, Weird Al is funny, so is Seth MacFarlane. So if I can laugh at what they do without them shoving political ideologies down my throat, I'm good with that. Thumbs up. You guys deserve to make the money you do. But you got other people out there like Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio and all these other libtards out of Hollywood. They're the dumbest people walking on the face of the planet because they have no idea. They don't know. They don't know Or they would hope within their own minds that they think that what they're saying is going to be beneficial to people, and they just don't know that it's not because people hate them. Jennifer Lawrence's movie Mother, I think it was Jennifer Lawrence. Is it her movie? Yeah, it said, if you're a Trump supporter, don't see it. The movie flopped at the box office opening day. So you said if you're a Trump supporter, don't come see the movie. So I ain't going to see the movie. I also thought last night about how people in general have this trying to be nice. I don't want to piss too many people off. It's funny how people in general seem to think that their portion of life, their ideology, their particular political bent on things is the only way that things ought to be. Have you ever noticed that? And then you have a group of people thinking the same thing. And then that group of people, goes out and tells other people. And, then we get what we have with the Democratic Socialist and the Republican Fascist, the progressive parties, I like to refer to them as. And we have this. It's there. And it's understandable that people are like that. It's very understandable that people are like that because of the fact that they were indoctrinated to believe that. It's there. So, it's kind of like saying, well, growing up in Stockton where I grew up, I would talk to various people. And you get this idea that you're talking to the person who has this belief, and this belief is there not because they thought about it, but because their family is thus and such. You know what I mean? Oh, my mom and dad are Democrats, and so I'm a Democrat. My mom and dad are my aunt and my uncle are Mormon, so I'm Mormon. You know what I'm saying? It's so there's not one person that I know in a group like that can think for themselves. I mean, I know that's a blanket general statement for a lot of people, but it's true. Okay? So, yeah. So, can we just, pack up those people and send them home? Send them out of the country for one. Let's just, So, anywho, hey, there's a big, huge, massively incredible problem right now in London, England, with Uber. Uber, the ride-sharing program. Uber banned in London after sexual assaults by migrant drivers skyrocket. Company has failed to report serious crimes. Yeah, they're not going to do that because that's what they were afraid of. And, there you go. Uber has been banned in London, partly in response to skyrocketing rapes by predominantly migrant drivers, which the company did not report to the police. According to Transport for London, Uber's license will not be renewed beyond September 30th, with the first reason listed being the company's, quote, approach to reporting serious criminal offenses, unquote. This includes Uber's failure to report rising numbers of rapes and sexual assaults by its own drivers. Yeah, so there you go. Is Lyft in London? Don't know. That's going up on American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook if you would like to go take a look at that. Yeah, I think the coffee's kicking in, folks. A little side note here. Have you ever liked someone a lot and they have no idea that you do. I was watching this, and why this came to mind was I was watching Orville, the second episode of Seth MacFarlane's sci-fi parody. I call it a sci-fi parody, but it's Star Trek trying to be funny is what it is. It's funny. Yeah, it's funny. Go check it out. It's on Hulu. It's called Orville. But I was watching that, and one of my thoughts was, have you ever liked someone that had no clue you did? And it just opened up a whole bunch of, avenues of thought, and I thought I'd share that with you. And it's one of those things where in regards to what's happening in our country, in the United States, I look at that concept of, hey, I like you, but the other person just has no clue. That you like them, or even if they do understand you like them, they have no clue how much, that kind of thing. So, again, the avenues of thought were open. And I look around, and I'm looking at Democrats, I'm looking at Republicans, independents, conservatives, liberals. I'm looking at all this, and I'm thinking to myself, there are certain things in certain, that certain people say, that certain parties have. There's certain things that they believe in and not believe in and whatever. So can we like them for that? For the things that we like about them? Or do we just, completely ignore them? And this is what happens, getting back to liking someone who has no clue, or if they do have a clue that you like them, they just, try to avoid you, for some reason. I don't know why. This is what's happening with the liberals. There are certain things that you can look at as a whole in the political arena that liberals, conservatives, Republicans, Democrats, independents believe politically that you can look at and go, yeah, that makes sense. Okay? But then there is some stuff you look at and you're just like, are they insane? And it's just, and obviously for the majority of the time, liberals are completely, out there. But there are certain things that you like about what they say, because you can take what they say and you can say, well, okay, they believe this. I'm just going to change that a little bit to, benefit myself or benefit the party or benefit the, political ideology. And so that whole thing just, is there as well. Again, avenues of thought. It's kind of like going back to the 90s when George H.W. Bush said 1,000 points of light. Now there's 1,000 ideas out there, but only one will work. Or a mishmash of others that you can, change and work with and, all that. But in regards to what's going on, do we like what's going on? Do we like what the liberals are saying? No, because most of it's a bunch of bullcrap. But when you really listen and you look and you listen to what they're saying, is there something in there that you can take away from that and say, you know what, I can work with this? Overall, as a package, let's just say that, as the package, you can look at a liberal and hear what they say and watch what they do, and you can go, they need to be in a rubber room somewhere in a wraparound tuxedo, because they're completely out of it. This doesn't reflect on the fact that if you like someone, as I was explaining before, and they either like you or they know you like them, but they don't want to go any further than that. This is what I'm talking about. And you can transform that or translate that into the concept of taking out of that what works for you. If a Democrat is saying, well, we need to, have reasonable, responsible immigration laws. I don't know any Democrat that would say that. But if they were to say that, I would say, yes, okay, I can agree with that. But their reasonable immigration laws are probably more, let's open the border and just let everybody in and deal with it then. That I won't go for. Okay, that's not an option for me. Okay, that is not what I was intending to agree with. Okay, so, but you get my point. If there's something there within this whole thing, and you like it, but it's not the way you want it, but they're, saying that it's, there and, take from that situation, that incident, that piece of what they're saying and change it to your liking. I mean, do we always have to be, on guard? Yeah, 24/7. Do we always have to hate a Democratic liberal? Yeah, pretty much. I say hate. Let's put it this way. We dislike what they do. I'm independent. I'm nonpartisan. I don't really care about political parties. I think they need to be abolished all throughout the United States. But that's not going to happen. So take from it what you will. Take from it, take from what they're saying something you believe you can work with, change it to your liking, and use it to benefit yourself or other people. Because at that point, you're literally using what they're saying, what they're doing against them. And sooner or later, they're going to see the errors of their ways. Some Democrats, I should say, some, emphasizing that word, some Democrats know for a fact that their colleagues in their own party, the majority of them, are dumber than dirt. They understand this. They understand the policies that they're trying to pass are just stupid. And some Democrats are sitting back going, you guys are just ruining this party. You know that. So they understand this. So I give a high five to those folks who realize what's going on the Democratic side. Same thing on the Republican side. Rand Paul is out there trying to be the voice of reason, maybe. And so, so you got all that. You got all that to contend with. I know that's a lot of deep thoughts that, folks are trying to process at this point. But I will say, that there's a portion of what I've seen so far, just a little bit, just a little portion, a little small bit of what I've seen so far, that has given me hope. It's given me hope. And you have to address that piece of hope that is there. Okay. Here's the big false story of the day. 2 days from now, the world's going to end. It's a big freaking mess. It's not going to end. I'm more worried about the earthquakes than some comet or asteroid coming out of the clouds and destroying the rest of the planet. Hey, I'm good. I know where I'm going, I'll go back to being spirit, man. That was kind of cool. But anyway, more about that later. But the thing that really, and here's something within this. There's something that drives us. There's something that drives us. We have a passion for something. We have we focus on something and we're saying, that is what I want, or that is what I desire, or that's a goal I'd like to reach. And we have that. And I don't think there's really any doubt that we're going to reach it at some point. But everybody wants it now. I want instant gratification. This is the mantra of a lot of people. Give it to me now. Well, no, it won't. No, it's not going to happen that way. So when you look at whatever it is you want and the goal you have to strategize. You have to think about it. How can we do this? Well, in business, such as, this is, we have to put out quality product, and that's what this is, to really, disseminate to the general public what's going on, how it's related to what everything is happening in our world today, and give you current events and news and opinions and all that. And the fact is that when you have a passion for something, there's nothing that's going to stop you, apparently. But you really have to be reasonable as to your approach to it. You see what I'm saying? So when we look out at the things that are going on in our world, specifically in the United States of America, where our political processes and the political foundation of this country is in total shambles. It's just, yeah. It's gone, seriously. But when you look at that and you have a passion to do whatever it is you need to do to find the truth and the facts, then you will do that, And going back to, you like someone, but they, sort of like you, but they don't have a clue how much you like them, that kind of thing, right? When you like what you do, you will do everything you can to make it your life's work. Two things come out of that, and this is one of my thoughts I had last night. Two things come out of that. Number one, career politicians, professional politicians. We need to get rid of them. We just need to get rid of them. We need to fire them and have term limits, period. End of sentence, done. Term limits, no, more. Just. And the second thing we need to do is we need to find that passion again for the United States that our great-great-grandfathers had, or even our ancestors back in, the Civil War, or, back, in the War of Independence or whatever. And we need to have that passion again to side with the concept of making America great again. Do I agree at all with how President Trump is handling things? Is there certain things that I don't agree with? Of course there is. I think he could go about certain things a different way, specifically with, Russian President Vladimir Putin. But I think what he needs to do, from my point of view, is he needs to rid Congress of all the people that are in complete conflict to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, the principles of peace, freedom, liberty, and security in this nation. He needs to go in and just say, look, I'm president. I know you work for the people, but you also work for me. So guess what? You guys are fired. You guys need to do this. And whether or not you like it, I don't care. You're going to have to think about doing this. And if you don't want to do this, there's the door. I'm giving you an out. If I was president of the United States, I'd go into Congress and go, I know you guys, handle the purse here. I know you guys handle everything. But a lot of your ideas come across my desk for my approval. Well, I'm going to stand up right now and tell you I don't approve of anything you're doing right now. So anybody that doesn't want peace, freedom, liberty, and security for America, or make America great again, see that door behind you? There you go. Bye. Have a nice life. Now, a lot of people would say, well, you can't do that. Yeah, I can. Freaking president of the United States, I'll walk into Congress and tell them they got to shape up or ship out. They don't like it? I don't care. Doesn't matter. Then they're going to impeach you. They're going to throw you out of office. That's called a coup. And that don't work in America. That's called a coup. That look the word up. It's C-O-U-P, coup. I know it sounds weird, but there you go. You don't want to do that in America, period. You don't want to do that in America. Again, people have passion for what they do. People have ideas and they want to, change things and they want to make things better. And, and why not make things better? You know what I'm saying? I mean, serious. You just want to destroy things because you're pissed because you disagree with someone? You're an idiot. You want to destroy a car, you're protesting, you're angry, you're pissed off, and you go out and destroy a building. And you burn it to the ground because you disagree with someone. You're an idiot. You go turn over police cars. You're an idiot. Well, you're also a paid provocateur, but you're an idiot. I don't really give one rip what people think about me personally because I already know they have preconceived ideas as to who I am. They don't have the balls. They don't have the guts. They don't have the backbone to sit down with me and talk with me. Oh, because you get defensive. Well, you're damn right I get defensive. If somebody's going to lie to my face about me and say, you're this and you're that, no, I know who I am. Yeah, they can see the door behind you. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. When you have a passion for something, when you have the ideals, when you have the belief that things can be better, can work, can be reasonable and rational and work for a good majority of the people, not everybody's going to be happy, then you are on the right track. If all you want to do is protest and get pissed off and throw things and burn things down and rip up cities and, kick people and, beat people up because they disagree with you and all that, you are nothing more than a radical communist that has absolutely no belief in peace, freedom, liberty, and security for the United States of America. And on that note, pack your crap and get the hell out of the United States of America. I'm done with your ass. Bye-bye. Planes and boats are leaving every day. Take one. Well, this is America. We can believe whatever we want, and if we disagree, we're going to disagree. 4 words. You are an idiot. I don't make no apologies for what I say. I may make apologies for how I say it, but I don't make apologies for what I say. You're a freaking idiot. To all my listeners out there that understand where I'm coming from, thank you. You guys are smart. You guys are on top of things. You guys understand what's going on. Thank you. Virtual high five to all of you. But those people that are listening to my show and bashing it because, you think I'm an idiot, well, guess what? You're the idiot. Oh, and when you bash me on your show and people hear about me on your show and hear about American Liberty Radio Network on Spreaker, they're coming to my show to find out what I say. And yeah, it's backfiring on you, isn't it? Yeah, it's backfiring on you, and I know this. Yeah, so thank you for, sharing my show with people. So there you go. Oh, folks, can it get any worse? I don't know, man. I really don't know. I'll be back right after this. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. You want to email me? AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. Talk to you in a bit.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Growing up terrestrial radio, the future is here. Destroying the liberal media one truth bomb at a time. Independent media is shattering the liberal national security media into a million pieces. Their views of the world are based on the script the government gives them. Independent media seeks out and finds the truth and reports on what is truly going on behind the scenes. Support the truth and facts. Support independent media. American Liberty Radio Network. Hey folks, welcome back. This is American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com is the website. Also, as I said in the beginning, in the last segment, things are changing. Things are changing all over the place. There, it's, yeah, I mean, what can I say, folks? I mean, you got to change up every once in a while or it gets boring. Okay, yeah, I mean, come on, it's there, Anyway, the whole issue with the changes that are taking place, the whole issue with things changing place, and they do change places. Well, let me describe to you my version of change. It's just going from one place to the next, or moving things around, or changing your view on certain things. Okay? I mean, that's what it is, And it really, when you take a look at change, when you take a look at what does change, the question should be, how is it going to benefit me? How is it going to benefit me? Okay? And it really takes from that moment you think about change. And it really takes from that and really puts you in a whole different mindset. In other words, it changes your mind. Whatever is happening that you... Here, let me try to make it as simple as possible. You take an objective look at something that you were subjected to. You step out of that and you look at it from the outside. And you begin to examine it and say, wait a minute. Something just doesn't, I got to change this. I got to change my view. I got to change, the way I do things. I got to change. This is what I'm talking about. You identify certain things that you once believed in as being limiting to your current situation, and you then step away from that for a minute, think for yourself, and realize, wow, I definitely did not see this. I have to change the way I'm doing things. You see what I'm saying? So, with all that, and I know I took a little bit to try to explain that, but as simply as I possibly can, change is good. Change is always good. When you look at something objectively from the outside of whatever you're involved in, and you begin to see some flaws and faults and, limitations, you begin to say, wait a minute, I can do better than this. I need to change the way I do things. This is what I'm talking about. In entertainment, I talked about entertainment in the last segment. So in entertainment, we have these people that just absolutely think that their, opinions matter, and they're making insane amounts of money making movies and doing television, and their opinions to me don't matter. And comedian and writer and all-around funny man himself, Mel Brooks, said, quote, "Stupidly politically correct society is the death of comedy," unquote. Quote, "Hey, where all the white women at?" Unquote. Okay, that's from truthrevolt.com. Truthrevolt.com, 22nd of September 2017. If anybody knows how to be politically incorrect and play it for a huge laughs, it's Mel Brooks. Have you guys ever seen Blazing Saddles? Go look at Blazing Saddles. Oh, here's something else that's politically incorrect today, and that would be All in the Family by Norman Lear. Go check that out, folks. Mel Brooks, his irreverent comedies with frequent use of the dreaded N-word and racial stereotypes such as the 1974 film Blazing Saddles are unstoppable classics, but Brooks believes there's no way Hollywood would ever greenlight another comedy like his Western parody. The legendary producer-filmmaker predicts a bleak future for the genre. Brooks said, while he talks to The Telegraph, he said, quote, "It's not good for comedy. Comedy has to walk a thin line, take risks," unquote. Brooks added, quote, "Comedy is the lecherous little elf whispering in the king's ear, always telling the truth about human behavior," unquote. Okay? Speaking about his movie Blazing Saddles, which starred Gene Wilder and Cleavon Little, who avoids getting hanged and becomes the sheriff in an all-white town, Brooks said, "It was the bigotry in the script that made the film so funny and significant at the time." 1974. Got to remember, Blazing Saddles came out in 1974. Around the same time All in the Family came out, around the same time all of these, other shows that are politically incorrect in today's society. This happened, folks, 40-something years ago, 44 or 43 years ago. Okay? He goes on to say, quote, "Without that, the movie would not have had nearly the significance, the force, the dynamism, and the stakes that were contained in it." He's talking about the bigotry in the script of Blazing Saddles. But I'll let you read the rest of that, the rest of that, and I'll put that on American Liberty Radio Network, American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook. Go look back, and here's what I talk about. Here's part of the example of what I'm talking about when I talk about change. When I talk about how we need to change for the better. Back then, All in the Family, Blazing Saddles, all of this, Good Times, everything. All those TV shows, What's Happening, and all these shows that had an underpinning of they used the absurdity of bigotry, of racism and all that, the absurdity of that to create comedy. This is what it was. Because you got to remember, we had just come out of, and President Nixon at the time resigned from office. We're out of Vietnam, no more draft, no more nothing. We came out of that contentious period of time, early 60s to the early 70s. We came out of that, and we needed to laugh at the absurdities of everything around and just say, this is just completely absurd. We cannot do this anymore. And people made fun of it. People made fun of it. And when you look at the very nature of this change of political ideologies of that time, because President Nixon resigned from office, Gerald R. Ford was sworn into office as president. He finished out the term. Jimmy Carter came into office 1976 to 1980. But even in that time, you saw that change of view, that point of view, when you look at the very nature of what went on back there. And I lived it. I was in the 70s. I was a teenager in the 70s. Believe me, everything that you saw on TV then cannot ever be on TV today. Why? Because you have too many crybaby, whiny, pansy-ass liberals and these people, getting triggered by everything. They would protest like crazy because, you're making fun of me. Back then we laughed at you people. Because you were, as you are now, you were stupid. You could not see the absurdity in what you were doing as you are today. You cannot see the absurdity in what you are doing. Hence, make a change, will you? All of this laying out, right out in front of you. When you look at the very nature of what it is, I laugh. That's why every time I think about this stuff, I laugh. You hear me chuckle every once in a while. Why? Because it's completely absurd. Oh, you got triggered because there's cotton in an aspirin bottle. You're a freaking idiot. Okay? That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. I give you this information for you to go look at it, to examine it, to draw your own conclusion on it. But as I'm reading it, as I'm looking at it, the first word that comes to mind is absurd. Go look that way. Actually, let me go look that word up for you. Okay, not that you're not able to. I'm just going to go do this. Absurd. Well, I can't go there because for some reason it's not working. So, let's do this then. Holy crap. Absurd. Let's just go to, here. Let's go to the Merriam-Webster dictionary.com. Dictionary? See, I can't even speak without coffee. Ridiculously unreasonable, unsound, or incongruous. That's another $3 college word. Having no rational or order relationship to human life, dealing with absurd or absurdism. Oh, God. Making sense of the absurd. Absurd contains the rare related adjective surd, which, like absurd, derives from the Latin surdus, or deaf, silent, or stupid. Surd can mean lacking sense or irrational. much like absurd. Absurd, however, stresses a lack of logical sense or harmonious agreement of parts, such as premise or a conclusion, not fitting together. In philosophy, it describes the problem of trying to distill meaning from one's experiences. In A Discourse of Novelty and Creation, 1975, Karl R. Hausman writes, quote, "There is an incongruity, an inconsistency, a conflict with a context that appears as lawful, orderly experience. As Camus, or Albert Camus, points out, absurdity, quote, springs from a comparison, unquote, a comparison between two aspects of reality which seems to be out of harmony, unquote." Yeah. I'm going to put that whole thing I just read on American Liberty Radio Podcast along with the link to where you can find it. So there you go. And it is what it is. And I want you to describe to yourself, or at least find a description that you are comfortable with, to describe yourself in this whole scope of what's going on in the country and in this whole, mishmash of stuff that's happening. Describe yourself in all of this. Okay? I can tell you, I'm gonna place a penny on the table and say this. Okay? I have a distinct feeling that you're going to find out and have the massive epiphany that you have been doing things absurdly. You're going to find out that what you have been doing is completely stupid. Okay? I got a penny on the table of debate there. You can take it if you want. But it's just, holy crap. It's just, I don't know, folks. That Breitbart London is coming out, or has an article out with this headline, is 22nd of September 2017. British schools to be rated on how, quote-unquote, transgender-friendly they are. Consulting service will police schools' conformity to radical gender agenda. I'm not even going to read this. Yeah, I'm going to put this on American Liberty Radio Podcast, but you guys can read it and assess it for yourself and draw your own conclusions, because it's absurd. It's completely absurd. But absurdity creates comedy. But also, when you look at the very nature of who we are and the environment in which we're in, absurdity creates changes. Absurdity, the lack of harmony with what's going on in your environment, because that's part of the meaning of the word absurd. You can't find harmonious agreement with, and therefore we need to make the changes necessary to be in harmony with our surroundings. Okay, and this is incredibly important. Okay, because when we find that, and usually it happens with a grand epiphany that we have, where we realize that oh my God, I've been doing what? I've been doing what? And we have this epiphany, and we change our way of looking at things. We identify those things, and then we say, whoa, time out. And we begin to make the changes necessary, and we lose friends along the way. Remember, I was talking about in the last segment about how we like someone, but they kind of like us, but they don't really want to get close to us because, whatever. Or they just don't know that we like them as much as we do. That whole idea changes the whole, way that you move in life. But you can also take from that, as you can from, what I'm talking about here. You can take from it what works for you. And you can either set the rest of it on the shelf, metaphorically speaking, or throw it away. It doesn't matter. You take from it what you enjoy, what works, what makes your life better. You do this and it happens and it's there. And so changes are good, but yeah, so you assess the situation the way that you do, and you make the changes necessary that benefits you, because it's like the ripples in the pond when you throw a rock in there. You make the changes necessary to make your life work in a good and positive way. It will reflect out. It will push out. The waves of your change will, make their way out to other people. And it works. Did for me anyway, many moons ago. Buchanan.org, Pat Buchanan, who was a former presidential candidate, has a website, Buchanan.org. He says Trump's devastation of globalism at UN eclipsed by sensational quote-unquote rocket man lines buried in president's message is clarion call for national sovereignty. Before I say anything, I believe in national sovereignty. I believe in national sovereignty because we are the United States of America, but unfortunately, at this time, politically speaking, ideologically speaking as well, we are a divided country. We're not so much united anymore as we were before. I think it's Pat Buchanan wrote this, so I'm going to credit him for it. If a U.S. president calls an adversary... When the President of the United States calls an adversary rocket man on a mission to suicide, unquote, and warns his nation may be, quote unquote, totally destroyed, other ideas in his speech will tend to get lost, which is unfortunate. For buried in Donald Trump's address is a clarion call to reject transnationalism and to embrace a world of sovereign nation states that cherish their independence and unique identities. Western man has engaged in this great quarrel since Woodrow Wilson declared America would fight in the Great War, not for any selfish interest, but, quote, to make the world safe for democracy, unquote. Okay, that's what President Woodrow Wilson said back then in the early 1900s. That's going on American Liberty Radio podcast. The facts are the facts, folks. I'm just gonna state it right now. Facts are the facts. I'm not gonna sit there and I'm not going to sit there and water down the facts. I'm not. The facts are the facts. They're in your face. They're right there. 1 + 1 still equals 2 in my book. And as we venture on into life and we find those people we like, do they like us? Do they know we like them? And are we willing to make the changes necessary to make our life positive, to make our life better, to make our life increase in, increase in prestige, and increase in viability, increase in productivity, increase in popularity? Are we able to do that? I believe on a very personal and very small scale, we all can do that individually. We all can make the changes necessary to not only uplift ourselves, but to uplift other people. Whether or not they like us, whether or not they, whatever. Doesn't matter. I don't care what political ideology they have. If I can help them understand the absurdity of what they believe, my day is complete. I'm good. All right. But is that ever going to happen on a grander scale? Who knows? Who knows? Do you know, when you wake up in the morning, do you know exactly what you're going to do? Well, other than go to work and pay bills, but do you know what you're going to do? Because as far as I'm concerned, I don't know what I'm going to do in the morning. I know that when I record podcasts and do that and work in the studio, yeah, I got to get things done. But, you know, and with that, you know, it helps to make the changes necessary for not only you to uplift you and to give you the information you need to you know, to really view the absurdity of what's going on in life. That's what I do here at New West Radio Productions. But I also want to come to you, hopefully in a friendly manner, and say, hey, let's talk about this. You know what I mean? So, you are the backbone, basically, or should I say, let me translate that into this. You are the people I like. You are the listeners that share this show, that download this show, that listen to me on iTunes or Google Music or, you know, Google Play Music, whatever it is. Elsewhere, you listen to me on Mixcloud, you listen to me on SoundCloud, you listen to me, you know, on Patreon or whatever. Just thank you. You guys really uplift me every single day. So if it wasn't for you, I'd still be doing this, but you guys are listening. I get the statistics. I know how many of you out there listen. So on that note, when you make the changes that you enjoy, when you make the changes that are going to uplift you, when you make the changes that are going to benefit not only you, but people around you, you know, something to think about, right? I want you to consider, I would like you to at least sit back and consider supporting independent media. You can support me, you can support Alex Jones, Rush Limbaugh, it doesn't matter. We're all independent. We may have our shows on different platforms, but we ourselves in our, specifically me, New West Radio Productions, is independent from all other sources, all other platforms. And it's listener supported. So whatever you can do to help, that's great. Even if you listen, I'm good with that. Thumbs up to you guys. But if you want to drop $1 in the kitty and become a patron, you can do that. You can do that. Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Go to the sponsors page. Down below, you see 2 links. One says become a patron. Yeah, drop $1. $1 a month, folks. I'm looking for 20 sponsors to become patrons. 20 people to sponsor this show by becoming patrons at $1 a month. That's all. That's $1 a month, folks. It's the, what is this today? 22nd? Yeah, 22nd. I'm looking for 20 people to become patrons by the end of the month. I told you I got some changes coming, and at the 1st of October, I'll tell you about those changes. As a matter of fact, next week, before the end of the week, I'll tell you what I've decided to do. But please consider supporting American Liberty Radio Network. $1 a month. Become a patron. I mean, you know. Or you can put in there as much as you want. I'm just saying, at least $1 a month. You know. There you go. So I'm looking for 20 patrons right now. Next week, probably around Thursday or Friday, I'll let you know what I've decided to do, what the changes are, how things are going to change a little bit for not only this podcast, but also for American Liberty Radio Network. So stay tuned, folks, because there's more coming. And I will talk to you later. This is American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com is the website. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com is the email address. This is American Liberty Radio Network, sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.